Hey guys, it's Brendan Borman back for another 270 video. Today I'll be playing a 270 game, a Missouri multiplayer talking about the Show Me State, whether it's the St. Louis Arch, the Gateway to the West, or the Columns, located in Columbia, Missouri, where the University of Missouri is held, the flagship university where I earned my bachelor's degree. Ironically, the mascot is Truman the Tiger, named after the only president to be born in Missouri, that is Harry S. Truman. Missouri is the Cave State. It's tons of sports teams, including the St. Louis Cardinals and Blues, Kansas City Royals and Chiefs, Senator Josh Hawley, who is also in the 270 game, and the aforementioned Harry S. Truman. But my favorite thing from Missouri is my son, Miles. Have to show him off whenever I can. But we will jump right into the game. Thank you so much to Nicholas Sloan, who is playing as Josh Hawley. And then we also have Harry S. Truman. We've got Donald Trump 2020 and Donald Trump 2016, and I'll be playing as Winston Churchill. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck does Winston Churchill or Donald Trump have to do with Missouri? And when I do these flash multiplayers, I like to include as many people as possible. I made a post in the 270 Lounge, and I want to say thank you to everyone who played. So I've got Nicholas Sloan, Gary Vicasubi, Keegan Moran, and Darby Callahan. So Darby's playing as Harry S. Truman, and of course I'm playing as Winston Churchill. We have, a lot of times I like to go national groups in a 5-player game. I am going for labor and environment, and I did not have any competition. I would have preferred to go big conservative, but sometimes when you're playing against a lot of candidates who have Republican bonuses, it's best to play as a Democrat. So look for me to go through New York in this matchup. Even though I have a penalty in both Latino and Town and Gown, and actually in African American. So I will need to get Town and Gown in high tech, most likely. And even then, that's going to be a tough sled. So let's see what happens here as the strategies unfold. But Missouri is the Show Me State. It became a state in 1821 as a part of the Missouri Compromise. So that had to do with slavery. Missouri came in as a slave state, and the state of Maine also came into the Union at the same time as a free state. Now, that wasn't the best situation, but it was a compromise, and leading up to the Civil War, there was tensions all around. There is a famous rivalry between the University of Missouri and the University of Kansas. It is one of the longest rivalries in the country, and back when Kansas was becoming a state, tons of Missourians flooded the ballot boxes trying to get Kansas to be a slave state. Homes and towns were set on fire, and names were being called, so Missourians called Kansas folks Jayhawks, and thus a rivalry was born. So fun fact, the University of Missouri is where homecoming, the term, maybe have been to a football game before where they celebrate everyone coming home. That actually was first installed at Missouri. So pretty cool. Missouri, one of the crazy things about it is it ties Tennessee, having the most border states. So they each share 8 states that it borders with. Of course, Missouri being Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, and even Tennessee. So lots of border states. The capital city is in Jefferson City, which I've actually worked in Jefferson City before. I live about an hour from Jefferson City. And then we have the 2 biggest cities, Kansas City and St. Louis. And then another underrated big city is in Springfield. But maybe you've been to Missouri on I-70. It goes all the way from Indianapolis across to Denver. Or maybe you've been here for tourist reasons. We have the original Bass Pro in Missouri. We also have O'Reilly Auto Parts, Enterprise, Cerner. All of their headquarters are in Missouri. And we have Lake of the Ozarks, which is the largest kind of man-made lake in the state. And then Branson, Missouri, with lots of tourists, kind of almost like old school hillbilly, country music, Christian music, all kinds of fun southern food. It's kind of a mixture between like a Midwest state and a southern state. And ironically, a few years ago in the college football basketball ranks, Missouri left to join the Southeastern Conference. So It's very kind of up in the air if you would call it a Midwestern state or a Southern state. But as I check back into the game here, I do have the Town and Gown bonus. I also have the high-tech bonus, although I don't anticipate to have high-tech very long, so I have transitioned to African-American and see if I can hold that. The Harry Truman has a really weird strategy. He's closing off a ton of states, and I'm not sure if he's trying to force a ballot, but he doesn't have a ton of national group money or state group money, so maybe he's just trying to knock off someone that way he can capitalize. But I don't mind him closing off some of my states, because if he does get eliminated, I will inherit those back. I'm also in a good spot here. If Orange is eliminated, I will inherit Maryland and Virginia very far, and then Pennsylvania I will have a decent shot as well. So definitely rooting against Orange at this point. But you know, the guy having Hawley having California and Texas, that's the person who I really need to watch out for. So again, a lot of players are clashing the 10th pip here. One of my strategies in a multiplayer is to not go to the 10th pip unless I'm absolutely sure that it's going to work. Sometimes if you can get to the 9th pip or 8th pip, even if someone claims it, like I mentioned earlier, you can inherit it later on. So even though we have just a few bonuses here, I like where we are. I do not look forward to the time where New York becomes pressured, because that's going to be legitimate pressure when you have Latino and several of the bonuses working toward New York. Now, I can kind of save a little bit, pick my spots, but I need to get enough EVs wrapped up to where I don't have to worry about it. So that's 156 EVs as we enter into turn 13. But let me know in the comments if you've ever been to Missouri, what your favorite thing about the state is, maybe what you don't like about the state. You know, it's definitely not perfect. We are kind of middle of the road in terms of education. It is, you know, fairly cheap to live in Missouri comparatively to some other areas. We've got lots of manufacturing, lots of lots of agriculture. I'm actually shocked that Missouri does not have an agriculture bonus. It has Town and Gown, which I talked about, the University of Missouri. There are some other underrated schools. There's the Wash University, Washington in St. Louis, which is a really prestigious school. They have several other colleges that have really good sports teams, like Northwest Missouri State up in Maryville. They're really good at football. But yeah, I don't know. If I was designing a 2024 map, I probably would give Missouri an agriculture bonus for sure. Definitely over Town and Gown. It's kind of ironic that Missouri typically tends to go red, yet whenever you're playing a game of 270, most of the time because of Town and Gown, Democrats end up with the state of Missouri. But it's all good. That's part of what makes this game unique, is anyone can win. Democrats can win Texas and Republicans can win California. So it's not all about being realistic. It's about strategy. But as turn 16 comes to a close here, we're going to have to say goodbye to another player. Thank you to Donald Trump. I'm really liking my position so far with 199 EVs. I have the Old South bonus. High Tech has been rewarded, and Florida is really going to be critical. So I had to lock New York. I did risk it one turn, but then the second turn I had to close it. And now that I'm up to the 5th or 6th pip in Florida, I can comfortably close that. I think Josh Hawley is going to be kicking himself. He did not pressure Florida and New York at the same time and make me choose which one I was going to defend. Anyway, Hawley does pick up manufacturing. Now there's $125,000 in swing, which can help me in Florida, help me in Pennsylvania. And we do have another ballot here. Kentucky's going to go to Hawley. So it looks like that Harry Truman, this is the end of the line. So let's skip, 241 to 159. And as turn 18, the ballot closes, we will say goodbye to Harry, and all his states will go over. Now, I was in several of his states, but a lot of the upper Northwest, those are going to be white states. So let me go ahead and enter those so we can work toward a ballot. I'm going to go ahead and lock Florida, and it looks like that a failed steal attempt in Louisiana. So that's really going to help us. I think we're in good shape anyway. A clash in Wyoming will prevent a ballot, so we will see a turn 21. So now Hawley is spreading out, and we are going to finish up with the victory. Again, I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. If you have not done so, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We are still building as a young channel, and I like to kind of put out videos. I've taken some breaks here and there. I listen to the feedback messages that you guys send in the comments. I definitely have a couple video suggestions I'm working on, but this was an easy one where I could have several players jump on in. I could talk about my home state and play a little 270 at the same time. I want to say, give a couple shout outs. We've got several players who are from Missouri who are in the 270 Lounge, myself included. We have Nathan Williams. We also have Brett Gordon. We also have Bryce Hawkins. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but anyway, it's good to interact with people in the 270 Lounge. If you've not joined that, it's a Facebook community that you can actually have access to when you're loading the game of 270 on the main screen. Hit that little Facebook icon, and we will see you there. We've got about 9,500 members or so. And then if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on Twitter or on Facebook at Brendan270Game or just Brendan Borman. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until